Are we rolling?
We are.
All right, the meeting is called to order. Call the roll, please.
Judge Kraft,
Present.
Judge Lauterbach,
Present.
Judge Hudson, he's excused, Judge Harvey,
Here.
Stancil Ford,
Present.
Linda Byford,
Here.
David Nemo.
Present.
All right, this is the Tennessee Private Probation Services Council. We're holding a meeting by telephone today, Friday, June the 3rd, 2016, at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Due to the impossibility of having a quorum of members physically present and the immediate need to address standard council business, including disciplinary action against some licensees, we have 2 today, the council believes a necessity exists that requires this meeting be held by teleconference. The matters to be considered by the council at this meeting require timely action by the council. Further, physical presence by a quorum of the council members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and participation by a quorum of the council members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. Do I hear a motion to declare a necessity?
I move that we declare the necessity for the meeting. Second.
Can you give me the names when you
Judge
make your motion?
Stancil Forward. Second. Judge Lauterbach made the motion.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, let's have a call the roll for a vote, please.
Judge Kraft,
Aye.
Judge Lauterbach,
Aye.
Judge Harvey,
Aye.
Stancil Ford,
Aye.
Linda Byford,
Aye.
David Nemo.
Aye.
And also, we do have a quorum, by the way.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Notice of the meeting?
The notice of the June 3rd, 2016 meeting of the Private Probation Services Council was posted to the Private Probation Services Council website on May 25th, 2016.
All right. Y'all have all been sent an agenda, those of you by phone. Mr. Nimmo and I have it here presently. Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda?
Mr. Judge Lauterbach, I move that we adopt the agenda.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Nimmo seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Roll call vote.
Because they're not.
That's right. Let's call the roll on vote.
Judge Kraft,
Aye.
Judge Lauterbach,
This is on the agenda.
Yeah, this is on the agenda only.
Aye.
Judge Harvey,
Aye.
Stancil Ford,
Aye.
Linda Byford,
Aye.
and is it Nemo or Nemo?
Nemo.
Nemo. I'm sorry, I was
okay.
mispronouncing it at first.
Nemo is the Disney animation.
I'm sorry.
I'll
I
answer to anything.
interpreted incorrectly.
And I apologize for not calling for the roll call. I recognized everyone's voice, and Mr. Nemo is here, and so I was cheating. All right, motion carries. You've also been sent the minutes from our last meeting, which was also by teleconference, and hopefully you've all had a chance to review. Does anybody need any more time to review the minutes? All right, do I hear a motion that we adopt?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Judge Lauterbach, I second. Stancil Forward.
all right.
Judge Lauterbach, second.
Any other discussion, any additions or corrections? All right, let's call the roll for the vote, please.
Judge Kraft.
I'm going to abstain because I was not at that meeting.
All right. Judge Lauterbach.
Aye.
Judge Harvey.
Aye.
Stancil Ford.
Aye.
Linda Byford.
Aye.
And David Nemo.
I think I would abstain as well.
Okay.
All right, motion carries. Legal report.
Good morning, everyone. This is Benjamin Glover. We have 2 cases on today's legal report. Case number 1, 2015-022-1221. On or about November 2nd, 2015, Molina Healthcare, Inc. purchased Respondent's parent company. At that time, Respondent held various contracts to provide probation services to courts in Tennessee pursuant to its valid license. On or about November 17th, 2015, the Private Probation Services Council notified Respondent that the council had opened a complaint against Respondent's registration based on reports in a newspaper article. On January 25th, 2016, because of its purchase by Molina Healthcare, Inc., Respondent obtained an amended certificate of authority from the Tennessee Secretary of State's office changing its name. After purchasing Respondent, the healthcare company decided to stop providing private probation services in Tennessee and in all other states where Respondent operated. Each of Respondent's probation services contracts in Tennessee provided specific notice requirements for the termination of services under the contract. On March 31st, 2016, Respondent ceased providing probation services in all counties of Tennessee except for Cannon County, in which its contractual obligation with the county runs until August 1st, 2016. Cannon County plans to assume responsibility for providing probation services from Respondent on July 1st, 2016. Respondent has held license number 73 in good standing since the council first issued the license. The council has not previously made any findings of misconduct against Respondent. Respondent has cooperated fully and in good faith with the council regarding the complaint. One previous case of history, 2012-01286, which was dismissed by this council. Legal's recommendation for this complaint is to issue a consent order for the voluntary surrender of license, except for retaining the property right of such license to conduct activities as a private probation services company in Cannon County, Tennessee, until the earlier of the bilateral termination of its contract, which is expected on July 1st, 2016, or August 1st, 2016. After such time, all license rights shall extinguish. Respondent further agrees to notify the council of any such bilateral termination occurring prior to August 1st, 2016, within 5 business days of such occurrence and authorization for a hearing.
All right. Any questions? Do I hear a motion to accept the recommendation?
This is Judge Lauderback. I move we accept the recommendation of the Attorney General.
This is Hugh Harvey. I second.
Any other discussion or questions? Call the roll on the vote, please.
Judge Kraft,
Aye.
Judge Lauderback,
Aye.
Judge Harvey,
Aye.
Stansel Ford,
Aye.
Linda Byford,
Aye.
and David Nimmo.
Aye.
All right.
Carries.
Second case for legal to present to the council, 2016-02341. Complaint alleges that an individual violated a probationer due to greed. Complainant states that she and the probationer moved out of the county after receiving permission from his probation officer. Complainant claims that she and the probationer tried to contact the officer multiple times for check-in, even leaving voicemails to no avail. Respondent states that he never approved call-in appointments for the probationer. In fact, he scheduled his appointments to coincide with his counseling dates. Complainant states that after numerous phone calls and unreturned voicemails, a violation of probation was issued for not keeping in contact. Respondent stated that probationer did not report after September 30th, 2015, and he filed a violation of probation on February 1st, 2016. Respondent also states that in the 2 years the probationer has been on probation, he had only paid $140 towards his court costs and probation fees. There's no history of discipline against this particular probation officer. Legal's recommendation is to close the complaint without discipline.
All right. Any motion to accept that recommendation?
This is Judge Lauderback. I move we accept the recommendation of the Attorney General.
Hugh Harvey, second.
Any discussion? Seems like this is going to be something that judge is going to decide whether or not the person violated their probation or not. All right. A call for the vote, please.
Judge Kraft,
Aye.
Judge Lauderback,
Aye.
Judge Harvey,
Aye.
Stansel Ford,
Aye.
Linda Byford,
Aye.
David Nimmo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Director's report.
Do you have an order for him to sign?
I'll be around and sign anything y'all need.
We'll need to sign it first.
Oh, okay. I apologize. Just want to make sure before we moved on.
All right.
Turn to the director's report that was sent to you. I have at the first of the report a summary of the budget information from as of March 31st. I do have some updated information which I just received yesterday, and it couldn't obviously have been included in this report. So I'm just going to give you the updated information verbally, if that's all right. As of April 30th, 2016, the revenue figure is now 97,891.69, slightly up. The expenditures is currently at 30,145, and the cost backs are estimated at $7,194, and the investigative costs are estimated at $5,770. So that's the updated budget information as of April.
What's a cost back?
Cost back? Those are the charges that administration charges us for services such as legal, the in-house administration that they provide. There may be charges for our new licensing system under there.
So how does that differ from investigation services?
This is Judge Lauterbach, by the way.
Yes. Yes, investigation services, there's a specific department for investigations, and they bill specific to our complaint assignments.
And that's separate from the legal fee that's in the cost.
Right, that's different than just having an attorney for the board.
Now, one more question. You said the updated number with expenditures were 30,000.
Yes, we're at 30,000.
So what caused that to jump from 9,000 to 30,000?
They applied some of the costs of a variety of expenditures. I can give you a specific list if you'd like.
Yeah, I think I would, because I mean the things that are the normal, the estimated cost back in investigation services, that's the normal things that you charge. So what's this other thing that jumped it so big?
Well, we had 2 additional staff members joined our office at the beginning of April. So some of that is salary. In addition, we had supplies for administrative costs of $175 and professional services at $730. So between the cost of the employees that run the program and essentially the administrative costs of running the office. I'm sorry?
Judge, what'd you ask?
How does that compare to last year?
It's up slightly. We're a much larger office now, so the costs for the breakdown for how much each program is allocated is slightly higher because instead of having 3 people running the program, there's now 7 office members.
Why do we? I mean, we survived all these years with only 3 or 4. Why all of a sudden do we have all those extra? I'm not sure we're getting any benefit from that. All those extra people.
Well, the Private Probation Services Council is part of the greater reg boards, and specifically, my section is called Combined Programs, and there's 17 programs that share administrative staff services.
Judge Lauterbach, I think what you're saying is these charges are not to our council; they are 1/17th of the whole ball of wax. So if we don't take very much handling, we still have to pay our proportion.
Well, I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out why we're having to pay all that, even they're part of that big ball of wax when we didn't have 2 last year, the year before, because we're not doing much different than we did before. That didn't seem right. So anyway,
And just so observers will know, for the last several years, many years ago, we set the probation fee for a probationer, for the companies to pay in at $1 per quarter for a probationer. At that time, we thought that was really high, but because we had spent 6 years without any rules at all, we had a deficit. We're in the red about several $1,000s, like $80,000, and the legislature was trying to sunset us. And I convinced them at the oversight hearing that we would turn a profit if they just let us continue. And then about 5 years ago, we turned a profit. They were having some budget issues in the state of Tennessee, and so they asked us not to try to affect things. And now we're turning a surplus of $60,000 or $70,000 a year, and at some point, the council wants to reduce that dollar, which the probation companies pass on to the probationer in their fee. And we'd like to reduce that so that the people who are on probation won't be paying for a lot of other agencies because they're on probation. And so we're always a little concerned about the money. And of course, the legislature is concerned about the money as well for another reason. So that's why we're looking into this.
I'm very sensitive to that, and we already had the rulemaking documents approved by the council at a previous meeting, and we are still on track to reduce the fees for the probationers. And we are going to be budgetarily fine this year. We're right on track to come in at budget. So we should be.
Unless probation companies really start acting
Right.
up.
We are almost at the end of the fiscal year, and you still have not spent the amount that.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Judge, you have any other questions?
No.
All right. The next thing on the director's report is a legislative update, which is Senate Bill 2469, House Bill 2201, which has since been passed. This bill required that all agencies review any entry laws and regulations each year and repeal or amend those that are determined not to be demonstrably necessary and carefully tailored to fulfill legitimate public health, safety, or welfare objectives. Or in the case of laws, recommend to the General Assembly that the law be repealed or amended. Additionally, a person may petition an agency to review an entry regulation, which must be reviewed within 90 days in order for the agency to repeal or modify the regulation or state the basis the regulation meets the standard. The agency's decision on the petition can be challenged in court. This became Public Chapter 1053 on May 5th. So that I just wanted to make you aware of that. And then the next part is a legislative proposal summary. Legislative session this year is complete, and now we need any proposals for next year's consideration submitted by May 20th, although we've been granted an extension on that one. Please remember the administration's agenda planning process includes consideration of agency proposals, executive department research into policy priorities set by the governor, and development of strategies to address significant issues that the legislators and/or interest groups are likely to bring forward next year. The governor makes decisions about what is or is not included in the administration's agenda based on this full picture of everything that will have to be balanced next session. The department evaluates agency proposals based on the following criteria. Does the proposal align with the governor's vision for the state? Does it help advance his priorities or make improvements to those areas? Is it good public policy? How does the proposal affect or interact with other suggested bills from the agency? Does it cost the taxpayer money, or is there a fiscal impact? Is there a change in law necessary to achieve the desired outcome? Understanding that the administration will continue to put forth a legislative agenda that contains a limited number of bills, we expect that anything proposed will reflect the highest priorities of the commissioner and the governor. And in the next paragraph, I did include a typo, so I hope you will forgive me. This had to be presented to several programs. When thinking about 2017 legislative proposals for Private Probation Services Council, please keep in mind that the legislative proposals should reflect one of the governor's priorities: education, jobs, efficient and effective government. Also, consider whether or not the intended outcome of the proposal could be accomplished by rule. And at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to the chair for discussion.
Well, I guess the question is going to be, do any of the members have any suggestions for proposed legislation? I don't. If I did, I would have made them known a long time before now, but you just open that for anyone who wishes to make any suggestions or discussion. Hearing none, I think we've disposed of that.
All right, thank you so much.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is under that Right to Earn a Living Act, what is an entry law?
Those things that are requirements to become a licensed professional.
Okay.
So that in this situation, it'd be the entry requirements to either be a probation company or a probation
Whatever
officer.
rules are that affect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
If this is legal, it could be a fee, it could be an educational requirement, it could be an experience requirement. All the boards have different requirements to enter into that particular field, so it's a mishmash of any one of those things.
Does that
on the
require that
board.
each year we say, okay, we don't need to change anything, or that we have to affirmatively do something?
In essence, this is brand new, so we're still figuring this out ourselves. We believe what it would end up being is the review committee may pose to a particular board or program why the laws and regulations they have in place are necessary, and so some sort of a statement would likely be filed by legal. Perhaps we'd have to go in front of them and justify as to why these barriers are in place. You know, most of them will be considered to be to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the public.
Right. Is there any other business to come before the council?
Just one piece,
Yes.
sir. We had a letter that was written in by Craig Turner, and he asked just that I present it to the commission or to the council.
Discussed him at the last meeting.
Last meeting, okay.
Yes.
All right, I want to make sure that that one was covered. It
Right.
was still in the.
We had discussed his letter, and we had recommended that you respond to him.
All right,
Talk to him about how that was a matter for the legislature, not for us.
okay. Thank you.
And that's reflected in the minutes we just approved, so.
All right, good.
Anything else? All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Any
Time to
second?
vote.
Let's vote by hanging up our phones and our feet. Thank you
What's
very
the
much.
next meeting date?
Next meeting is September 3rd?
I think
It's
that
the- it's
that
the fir-
sounds right.
It's the first Friday in September. I think that's
September
September 3rd.
2nd.
September 2nd.
Yeah,
That works.
and it is posted on the website under public meeting notice.
Okay.
Thank y'all very much for coming. Particularly thank Mr. Nemo for coming today for his first meeting. Thank y'all very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Aye.